Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another T.T.S reviews. My name is Mike Floyd, and today I'll be reviewing The Red Strings Club. The Red Strings Club is a game developed by Deconstructeam, published by Devolver Digital, and was released on Steam on January 22nd, 2018. At the time of this review, it was on Steam for like $12.74, but I think it was like 14 bucks for the actual price. So you're saving like $1 and some odd cents. I actually found this game by trolling through like the new releases. I just happened to see the art style, and I was like, what is this? And honestly, at first glance, one would be tempted to disregard this game due to the visuals in the world of high-tech graphics. We're all used to like the Battlefield 1s, Call of Duties, Monster Hunters. But having shiny 4K graphics means nothing if there's no story to tell. The Red Strings Club is a stylistic narrative game that will keep you second-guessing decisions you make, even at the end of the game. There are definitely some adult themes within this game, so this game is definitely not for children. I think there's some adults that probably shouldn't play this game. They just wouldn't understand what it is. The story behind the Red Strings Club is a cyberpunk narrative story-driven game that discusses how far are you willing to let corporations shape the world. The question of if the corporation could guarantee that you won't feel sadness, depression, anger, or fear, would you be willing to partake in their program? Or is it the same power of the corporation that they want you to partake of? Is it purely brainwashing? Because since that human being would no longer have the emotions that make him a human being, so if they take sadness and anger from you, you're just content all the time. You're just a slug. You're just a body. The question presents itself throughout the story and forces the player to make decisions on how they would shape the world if they could. In the game, the player takes part in the conversations between a bartender, a hacker, and an android trying to find their place in the world. During their conversations, they attempt to rationalize taking down a program by Supercontinent Ltd. called Social Psych Welfare. This Social Psych Welfare will eliminate all those emotions from human beings, like I was saying earlier, like sadness, depression, anger, fear. Using the different skills of the three characters, players will interact with employees of Supercontinent Ltd. and try to figure out the reason of the SPW program and try to stop it. Graphics wise, the Red Strings Club is a very colorful game, and it uses an art style that kind of reminds me of Escape from Monkey Island by LucasArts from back in the day. The 2D art style is very well done, and it doesn't look overly pixelated, and it doesn't distract from the main story. For the blinking lights, the rain and wind effects, and even the cigarettes being lit, this game looks really good. You could tell on the screen right now, old girl's hat has that little blue kind of look to it, and you can see the smoke coming off her cigarette, and it just looks really good to me. Honestly, I just like this style of game. Now, to me personally, the only time it starts to falter is when it goes into different sequences, dealing with the pottery and the pouring the drinks. For some reason, going into that first person view completely threw me off my game, and I had to adjust in order to complete the task. I think it was just, I was so enthralled with the story, the reading aspect, and then just having to do these little tasks like pouring drinks and making pottery, which was necessary to move the narrative along. It was just throwing me off. Yeah. But I was able to overlook it and stay focused on the task at hand, which, like I was saying, is deciding how much free will should humans give up. Gameplays wise, the Red Strings Club is a story-driven game, so there isn't much action happening. You do have somewhat of a mini game where you're pouring drinks that can be very frustrating if you don't have a steady hand. I don't have a steady hand at all. It constantly shakes just due to some injuries I had before. But if you got a steady hand and a nice mouse and a nice mouse pad and stuff like that, you should be pretty good at it. There's an achievement for that, by the way, if you don't spill any drinks. Just throwing it out there. But the majority of the time, you are asking questions to the patrons of the bar and trying to piece together, the story from what their answers that they're giving you in order to get more information. The game doesn't give you any hints on what you're expected to do next, which to me is very refreshing. I was able to figure out the direction I was supposed to go just by listening to the conversations and piecing together the answers, that were given. Several spots within the game took me a little longer than I would like to admit, but they weren't difficult to complete. I mainly pouring the drinks. Like I said, I didn't have a steady hand. I was completely screwing this up over and over again, so that was just me. But it is what it is. But just a heads up, all the decisions you make within this game will eventually change the way you experience the end. It comes down to that. Replay wise, the Red Strings Club is a relatively short game. I was able to complete it in one sitting in less than 4 hours. I just sat down, just started playing, and just didn't get back up. It was that good. I know for a fact I missed a lot of dialogue after looking at the achievement list, but I don't know. It was just certain spots, I'm more of a direct person, so a lot of the answers that you could have gave were direct, and some were kind of beating around the bush. So I went with my kind of talk style, and I know for a fact I missed out on some stuff. If I could have been a little bit more, nicer to people. So I mean, it is what it is. Even when you complete the game, it does give you an option to somewhere start fresh and tend to rectify what you missed. So I personally will definitely be playing this game again to get all the story arcs. So I mean, if you couldn't tell, I completely love this game. Even though it was a short game, I could tell the developers poured sweat and tears into the story and made something timeless. And I thought that was kind of like evident to everybody else. But I think this morning when I was recording this, the Waypoint, which is I think is like the Vice.com, Vice Show's little gaming website, and they're writing about how the Red Streams Club sabotages his hopeful cyberpunk vision, but talking about how it's a pitfall for transphobia. And I guess it came with the topics of dead names, and I think that's the name that the person used before they transitioned into their their sexuality and whatnot. And personally, I didn't know that was a thing. I really didn't. I knew that there was a part in the game where that comes up, but it was so brief that I didn't even think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, whatever. Well, it turns out that one of the developers of the game is a trans girl, and she stated like, yo, like I wasn't trying to diss nobody, like that article is just way out of base, and it made this gigantic little Twitter thread. And I'm kind of paraphrasing it and whatnot, and I'm completely screwing it up. So I'm gonna link that Twitter page. Well, not the Twitter page. Well, yeah, the Twitter thread, and also the Waypoint article on the show notes, so you kind of see what I'm talking about. But it's pretty interesting read. Like me personally, I learned some stuff I didn't know. I didn't know dead names was a thing. I did not know that. And yeah, I know now. So I mean, yeah, you learn stuff every time. You just start looking around. But I mean, besides all that, I mean, it didn't kill the game for me. I love this game. Like I said though, there was a couple spots where I was kind of shaky about it, just because like, just me personally with my hands and everything. So I mean, I couldn't give it a perfect score, but I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5. But I highly recommend everybody play this game. I mean, it's super short, it's super cheap, and I honestly think we should, support smaller studios like this so they keep making games. And just all the ideas that this game presented and the storyline was just good enough. I mean, for 4 hours, I was highly entertained. Well, that's gonna be it for this review. If you like this review and what we're doing with this channel, please press the subscribe and like button to help support the channel. Also, if there's any game you'd like me to review, leave a comment below and I'll try to get to it. Or send me an email to the address in the description. I normally play anything on Steam and sometimes on my Xbox One. Also, you can follow me on Twitch and on YouTube Gaming at the Blue Mastodon. Whenever I'm working on reviewing a game, I tend to stream it as well so you can see the gameplay as it unfolds and not just clips of the game. And I'll make sure to link that name in the description below. So until next time, guys.